Hey there, my name is Floppy. That's ABH over there to my right. And then Daniel and Tara behind us also help with the farm. Daniel and ABH being the main creators of the farm. And C over there to the left, he's just here. Don't mind him. Now ABH will show you how Endermelon works. ABH?
Okay, so Endermelon is just, as the name implies, it's an Enderman melon farm. So Enderman picks up melon, falls down, dies in whatever way you kill them, and yeah, you get the melon. This is because of the 1.8 change that the Mojang did, where if the Enderman is holding a block or picks up a block and it gets dies, it drops that block 100% of the time. That makes it that it's possible to survive farm. Because prior to that, you don't get the block, and it's useless to have any of this kind. The interesting part is that there's a different layout from the Panda and Peter farm. The Panda and Peter farm both being this layout where they center it on the center of fences. And this is actually possible is because Minecraft just checks for the center of the Enderman instead of the center of the block, the radius of the melons they can pick. So it's better to align them in the middle of the block. We do the same here with the center of 2 blocks. In the center of these 2 blocks is where we align the Enderman. We have the wall and fence. So the directionality of these do matter. The wall has to be facing west, whereas the fence has to be facing east. In the Peter and Panda farm, they have something similar to this. They just align them to the middle of 4 fences. I will also mention there are 3 farms of this kind that I know of. Yours, which is in this video, Peters and Pandas. Pandas being the oldest one, and it was released around 1.11. Also the laggiest one and the slowest one, because it was so laggy they couldn't even test it. Peters is produces around 10k and is 15 to 10 ms. Not sure about the exact amount of lag. Because Pandas is just, I've never been able to measure the lag since it always ran over 50 ms. Ours runs around 1 to 3 ms. Never really got a solid number on the testing, but it fluctuated between that. I will add, it was also tested on an i7 7700K on carpet with nothing, no features on. Carpet might have something that reduces lag by default, but those are the results we got. So if you want to test it yourself, you can.
I'll add that when we ran
about
survival,
the layout.
Well, one second. When we ran on survival, we didn't notice an MS change whatsoever. So it really is just that lag friendly.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so an interesting thing about the ray tracing, or the way it's done, is it's directional. So reason we align it in the center of this block, the wall and the fence, and this directionality being that sometimes if you do the opposite way, you have fences on the west instead of the east, you can miss these 2 blocks here. They cannot pick them up. Ray tracing is really finicky. I'll probably add a jar in the description that shows you the successful and failed attempts. They can pick up the blocks. It just replaces the blocks, the successful blocks, with iron if I remember correctly, and the failed blocks to pick up with gold. Whereas if the Enderman tries to pick up this melon, it will turn it into an iron block, and if it tries to pick this dirt, which it obviously can't, turn into gold. This jar is written by Daniel. Daniel helped a lot with this, especially the layout. Basically designed the layout with me. Yes, probably the biggest help in the project. Floppy, you wanna add something?
Yeah, let's go over the module itself. So this is basically the redstone here, just without all the extra stuff. So it's pretty simple. The pistons just push over, get aligned, and this piston here acts as an OR gate, so if either of these spawn layers trigger, it opens up the shutter and the endermen just fall through. If you look over here, the shutter is necessary because we need light right next to the melons so that the melons actually grow. So this prevents any light from leaking into the spawn pads themselves. Yeah, so it's like we said before, this farm is really lag friendly. For multiple reasons. One, the wiring is really simple, not too much going on. Both the spawn pads and the collection down below, which we'll show in a bit, but as well as spawning lag is basically negligible in this farm because of two reasons. One, enderman lifetime is really high. That's just because we want to give them like a large enough chance to pick up a melon. And two, the farm itself actually kind of fills subchunk in a way. So both the melons and the dirt itself blocks spawn attempts. So because of that, spawning lag is just barely anything. Then if we look at the collection itself, it's not perfect. Well, it's basically like it might as well be perfect. Like for ABH's testing, we don't really lose any items whatsoever. But like there's no discrepancy almost between TPing the items and just having the collection just lead up into one hopper or one carpet counter rather. Yeah, that's basically Endermelon in a nutshell, honestly.
I do want to add the collection though. Items can get stuck, and that's why I was very skeptical about it and had to retest it without hopper counter. It does happen, but since you have so little spawning spaces, they usually get multiple endermen over the time you spend with the farm on. So almost no items despawn, and you probably lose more items to randomness rather than itself.
Yep.
Also want to add that enderman's lifetime is about 140 game ticks, at being the perfect lifetime I found. In lifetime and chances of them picking up melon, any more than that, and you're sacrificing mobcap for enderman.
Yep. There's some ladders here just to slow them down a bit.
Yeah, this is the first I've seen about this farm. It was Terra's idea to add ladders in the farm. It was an interesting idea. I've never seen Panda or anyone else do it before. I'm guessing because they can't do it with their layout. Whereas the Peter farm goes up to height limit, this goes only up to the 5th subchunk. It also means you can add more spawning pads in the 6th subchunk. This might help the farm with the size of it and reduce the size of it. I've not tested anything in the 6th subchunk, whereas we know it's just gonna reduce rates, so
Yep.
went with the best for the rates.
Yep. So this farm is really big. The one we have in survival, which scales up to 3 caps, is about 1.9 million blocks to place, which is not small. Might not actually be the biggest farm built in survival, but we don't know. But yeah, it took us 2 months to build. It was really not hard, but it was kind of boring. So if you want to build this farm, maybe just build it smaller or try and increase the amount of spawning spaces so you don't have to build it quite as big.
Or you could build the Peter's one, which in my opinion is a better option, since yes, it does use aggro and it is laggier. This is only one endermite and it's much smaller. It goes up to height limit, so it's much denser.
Yep. But it's limited to like 10k melons an hour, so it's up to you.
But that's still more than enough for most servers, so it's just if you don't want to go as big as we did with a few million blocks, you can go with the Peters.
No.
Pandas is out of the question because that even crashed servers I've tested it on.
Insane. If you're just going to use this module here, this repeater line on the right here is just the on-off switch. Pretty simple. Disables the spawn pads. Oopsie. Yeah. Anything else to add?
No, not really. Oh yeah, if you want to contact us and you try to add more spawn pads or something, yes, we'll put our Discords in the description. You can DM me or Floppy about it.
Yep.
We'll try to help you if you run into any issues.
Yep. It's pretty simple. But yeah, if you, like you said, I can debug most anything. Alright, so, have fun if you choose to build this. It's quite an adventure. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
A really boring one.
Yeah.